Christopher Jones. I'm the Director of Bands at Richland County High School. This is an informational meeting virtual for the Marching Tigers 2021 season. Before we begin, I just want to introduce you to the music staff at Richland County High School. Of course, again, I am the Director of Bands, in which I direct 2 concert bands, a jazz band, 2 basketball bands, and the orchestra pit for musicals. Mr. Whitecamp is the RCHS choir director. He directs the high school choir, several choirs at the middle school, as well as some electives as well, and he's the musical director, overall director. And then we have Nancy Dimel. She is the assistant director, also the music department manager. Of course, she works in the Family Consumer Sciences department at Richland County High School, but she also takes care of a lot of the behind-the-scene logistics. Adding in a few more people, this is the staff for the Marching Tigers, quite a bit more of us. So again, I am the director, Christopher Jones. Nancy Dimel is the music department manager, assistant director. We work the entire season. Angie Allen will join us just for the summer for the preseason camp. She is a phenomenal flautist, and she'll be, I think this will be her third season with us. She'll be the flute instructor. Eric Combs, of course you know Eric Combs as the director of bands at Richland County Middle School. He is one of the 2 woodwind instructors. He'll predominantly teach saxophones, but occasionally he'll take on clarinets as well, maybe flutes on a couple of occasions. Charity Ostrowski is the other woodwind instructor. She is director of bands at Shelbyville High School, just north of us, and she will cover predominantly clarinets. And both Mr. Combs and Mrs. Ostrowski will only be at camp. They're not with us the entire season. Matt Meredith is a new member to the Richland County Community School District family. He has been hired as the general music teacher at the elementary school. Prior to that, he had just finished up an enlistment, 4-year enlistment with the Marine Corps. He was a trumpet player in one of the Marine bands. I think he was stationed at Quantico up until just recently. Greg Downs is the director of bands at Fairfield, and he will be with us for this season as well, or not season, pardon me, just the summer, the preseason camp, and he's going to cover the low brass, predominantly trombones, but occasionally sousaphones and baritones. I will cover the remaining low brass on occasions. Warren Whitecamp is new to the Marching Tigers, but has been with Richland County for several years. He is, of course, the choir director, but for the marching band, this season he'll be with the front ensemble, which is the percussion that does not march on the sideline, and we are fortunate that he will get to be with us the entire season. Jay Vald is a math teacher within Richland County, but has served for many, many years as our drumline instructor. He also helps out with some visual elements within the Marching Tigers. He'll be with us the entire season. And last but not least is Keegan Tucker. He was former director of bands at Robinson High School, went to grad school. He actually works went back to Robinson as the elementary music teacher, but he also instructs at OCC for drama, specializing in body movements and dance. And he does a few other things within our area, but he'll be joining us as our color guard instructor for the season. So today, if my voice will hold out, we're going to talk about participation in other school activities, code of conduct, class fee, required uniform purchases, outside of the uniform that we issue to students that they do not pay for, music and preseason camps, which is actually just all wrapped up into one big preseason camp this year, summer practices, our fall semester practices once the school year starts, packing list and forms, spirit days, performance schedule, and then online resources, of course, our website, the RCHS Bands Online, Remind 101, and Cut Time. We have don't have a slide for this other than saying that we have brand new uniforms. We're extremely excited about getting those next year, the 2021 season. We'll have them hopefully before our first competition. Not so much for the parent preview. May not have it for the first football game, but definitely for our first competition. This uniform pulls in some elements from four prior uniforms that belonged to Richland County High School, well, formerly East Richland. So you folks will get to wear that for the first time next year. And again, there's not another slide for this, but just to put this out there that the RCHS bands and choir, there is a 2023 Disney World trip, Disney World Cocoa Beach trip, and that will be in a couple of years. So in the fall, this fall, we'll start talking about fundraisers to make sure that and payments so that we can get everybody to that wants to go to Disney. Sports and other club participation. Everyone is welcome to participate in one or more activity. I'm sure my students are tired of hearing me say this, but when I was in middle school, back in Glenwood Middle School or junior high, I did track, wrestling, and I did bands, both concert band and jazz band. And I was successful in wrestling. I was okay at track. I was a big guy to be running a mile, but but at the end, as we're going into the high school, as I was transitioning into high school, the coach said, "You've got to pick. It's either band or wrestling." And I resented that, and I ended up dropping wrestling because of that. That being said, going into high school, I joined football and eventually ended up being a starter on the varsity team on both a defensive line and offensive line. And this team was not a slacker by any means. 2 years after I graduated, they won the state championship at Glenwood High School did. So, and I feel that if a state high school champion, albeit 2 years after I was there, but if they had a policy that allowed students to both march during halftime and then play during the game and was able to share that student, there's really no reason why we can't do the same. So I'm more than happy to let students participate in more than one activity. I think it's a good thing for them to do. And in fact, more than 45% of the band on any given year participates in other activities. And that ranges from football, cheer, track, tennis, choir, drama, you name it. We have a student that participates in a school activity. Now, of course, if you are in another activity, there will be conflicts. It's not a big deal. Just make sure that once you, as soon as you can, take a look at the band schedule and take a look at the sport or activity schedule and compare and see where the conflicts are. And all you really have to do is you let the coaches, sponsors, and me know, and we kind of we'll just kind of sync up. I'll seek out a coach, and we'll devise a plan to share the students between the activities that's fair to both the students and to both activities. I would say the sooner you do that, as soon as you get the schedule, the better. Waiting a week out, that makes it much harder on everybody. So again, try not to wait as much as you can. The code of conduct. The Marching Tigers, just like any other activity, must adhere to the Richland County Community School District Code of Conduct. Of course, tobacco, illegal substances, and alcohol are all strictly prohibited. Adults are also prohibited from using tobacco, alcohol, vape. Of course, what they do on their own time away from campus is their own concern, but they are not allowed to use tobacco, alcohol, or vape on campus, and especially around students. In the event of a serious breach in a school code of conduct, parents will be required to make arrangements for students to return home prior to the end of a trip. So that pertains to, of course, the big trip in Disney, but also to even like field competitions away at, let's say, Eastern Illinois University or Monticello and other trips. Class fee. There's a slight change to the class fee this year. The class fee covers expenses for instructor pays, not including me or Mrs. Dimel, and for that matter, even Mr. Combs. But it does cover all of the other staff that the school district does not cover. Just like the football team has multiple coaches, Without all these instructors, we would not be as successful as we are. So we are in great debt to our instructors, and we want to make sure we pay them for their time. Of course, we also need to purchase props. There's not a budget for that for the school, and miscellaneous other expenses that just small expenses for that takes just running a marching band. The class fee per student is $200. That being said, if there are siblings enrolled in the Marching Tigers on the same year, the first student is $200, but then we give a discount for the second, third, fourth, or however other many additional siblings there are. Can't say I've had 3 students from the same family, but I've had 2. So the first student would be charged $200. The second student would only be charged $100, and that's been reduced from $150. The preferred method of payment to RCHS bands is a check made out to RCHS bands. And of course, all of that would be deposited into our drop box outside of the music department office. We do accept cash and credit cards. If you're using a credit card, we would use the district's credit card processing system, and there is an additional fee that would be charged. Just let us know if you would prefer to pay by credit card or debit card. To make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row, the class fee is due by Thursday, July 16th, 2021. That helps secure your son and daughter's spot in the marching band so that we know how many students will officially be enrolled, and for the drill writer to write that on the field. Of course, fundraiser money may be used to cover the class fee. As I mentioned before, we provide the uniforms, and we're looking at getting, of course, rain gear in the event of light rain. But students are required to purchase items that would not be turned back into the band, that they would keep. That includes the department shirt, which has our logo. Small through extra large would be $10. Department shirts 2XL up to 3XL. Possibly 4XL, I'm not sure, but I think that those run $12. Department shorts, which are black athletic shorts with our logo on it, runs $15. Color Guard is not required to purchase those, but they may. Drill Master shoes, those are $32. Those are the marching band shoes. Again, Color Guard is not required to purchase these, and more often than not, they usually don't buy these shoes because they buy their own dance shoes. Black leggings, that's Color Guard only. They're more like jazz pants, and those take the place of the department shorts for the Color Guard. And not on here, Color Guard would need to buy guard gloves as well. We are not going to Eastern Illinois University this year for our preseason camp. There are just too many unknowns, even though the pandemic is slowly winding down. This year we're going to stay at Richland County High School for a couple of weeks. Our schedule is a little bit changed because we're not doing our marathon days from dusk to dawn at EIU. We will start on Saturday, July 24th, and that is purely just a logistical day, just to make sure everything is squared up before we begin our rehearsal on that next Monday. Student leadership would meet at 8:30, and they help set up for the students within the band to come in and check out their lockers, instruments if they need to, pick up reeds, their coordinates, drill book, music, anything and everything relating to marching band, uniforms, uniform parts. So we would start off with percussion, would come in at 9 to 10:30. That includes drumline and front ensemble. Woodwinds are from 10:30 to 12, Color Guard from 12:30 to 2, and then brass from 2 to 3:30. If for some reason, if you were absolutely not able to make it at the given time, just let us know, we'll work around. And then our camp starts. Preseason camp starts on July 26th, which is a Monday. The first week runs from the 26th to the 31st. It's at the Richland County High School, mostly on the practice field, but also inside the high school. And you can see for this week, as well as most of the following week, which I'll show you in a moment, the schedule is pretty much the same. Staff, the paid adults, come in at 7:30. We have a quick meeting. No students in that case. Call time is at 8 o'clock on the practice field with instruments. And then we do a little bit of physical conditioning and stretching that will last from about 8:01 to 8:45, at which point they have a 15-minute break to get some water and relax. It's not going to be terribly intense, but the idea is that we need to get students to raise their endurance so that they are able to successfully execute an 8-minute show without showing fatigue. Marching fundamentals goes from 9 to 11:29. Lunch is from 11:30 to 12:29. It's only an hour, but it should be plenty of time to run off campus, grab some lunch if mom and dad says it's okay. If not, they can bring a sack lunch and stay in the Music Commons and eat there as well. We have section rehearsals, also known as sectionals, from 12:30 to 2:15, And you can see there's our staff. The band is broken up into multiple sections. The specific classrooms will be announced as we get closer, but we have flutes with Mrs. Allen, clarinets with Mrs. Ostrowski, saxophones with Mr. Combs, trumpets and mellophones with Mr. Meredith, trombones with Mr. Downs. Also on occasions, baritones and tubas will be with Mr. Downs, but occasionally with me as well. Drumline is with Mr. Fall. Front ensemble is with Mr. Whitecamp, and color guard is with Mr. Tucker. We wrap up the day with visual blocks in the small gym from 2:30 to 3, just working on our incorporating movement into our drill. And then the full ensemble meets from 3:15 to 4 o'clock, in which we run the music as a full ensemble. We dismiss at 4 o'clock. The second week of camp is virtually identical to the first week of camp. It just runs, instead of for 6 days, this one runs for 4.5 days. You can see the schedule mirrors identical from what was listed on the previous slide. Friday is a little bit different. We have a morning rehearsal, but then at 11:30 we have an extended break, followed by the call time for the parent preview, our first performance on campus at 4:30 with students in the Music Commons. And then the performance starts at 6 o'clock in either the stadium, that's our hope, but if that's not possible, we'll be in our practice field. So it should be noted that, as I said, we want students to participate in more than one activity, and that's more than fine. The last week of July, there are likely going to be conflicts between other athletic Richland County high school sports and the marching band, especially in the mornings, and that's not a big deal. I just need to know as soon as possible, and we'll work it out so we can share the student between the two programs. And more than likely, just like say if a student is on the football team, they practice in the morning and then they're done for the day before it gets hot. So they can spend half the day of the first week with football in this case, and the other half of the day with us, with the marching band. I just need to know if that happens to be the case, so please, as soon as possible, give me a call. You can email me, it's probably the fastest way to be honest, at cjones@rccu1.net, or you can call me at 618-393-2191, extension 3153. The second week of camp, which is the first week of August, there won't be any conflicts in that case because the Illinois High School Association says there will be no sports that week. That's the blackout week. So marching band is the only event in town that occurs at that time. If a student is not able to participate in the preseason camp, we still would love to have them participate with the marching band. We do not assign them a spot on the field or a primary spot in the front ensemble, just because they'll be more than 2 weeks behind because of how much time we put into it during those 2 weeks. So what we do is we assign that person as an alternate. And what alternates do is they take the place of a student who ends up being missing for a competition or for a football game. So let's say we know that student 1 is in soccer, and student 1 has a soccer match on a Saturday when we go to Eastern Illinois University's competition. We would know that well in advance, so we would have an alternate shadow student 1 to learn those positions, and they would march that spot for that one competition at Eastern Illinois University. If everyone is present at a competition, then that student 2, the one that's an alternate, would just sit on the sideline. And of course, they would get to participate in the stands for stand tunes and parades and all that stuff. But we found that's the fairest way to ensure that everyone is included in the marching band, but also that we are not disadvantaging the entire ensemble if someone is not able to make it to the preseason camp. Since we're not going to Eastern Illinois University, we've got some team building activities. We have bowling on July 27th, Tuesday. Chili Willy's on Wednesday, July 28th. Star Studio, we have a DJ in the second level, will be on Thursday, July 29th. Movie and a cookout at the high school on Monday, August 2nd. A pool party at Musgrove Aquatic Center. I've reserved the pool, and only the band students are allowed from 6 to 8 on Wednesday, August 4th. And of course, our parent preview performance at Richland County High School on Friday, August 7th. All of those events are paid for by the Richland County Bands program, except for Chili Willy's. Students would need to bring cash or debit card, credit card to Chili Willy's. That being said, students are not required to attend these events except for the parent preview, but they're more than welcome to do so because it would be, first, it'll be a great time, but it's a great way for them to make new friends. Of course, we have a week before the end of our preseason camp and the beginning of the school year. So that we don't lose ground, we have 3 rehearsals on Tuesday and Thursday. We go from 6 to 9 p.m. in the evening on August 10th and 12th. And then Saturday, August 14th, we have a call time of 9:30, and we go from 9:31 until 12 o'clock. All of these would be at the high school. Fall semester. This is our normal year once the school year starts. As you can see, we have different schedules, but it basically breaks down through Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. until 9:15, although the class gets done at 9:20, but we start packing up at 9:15. And you can see that we have all members, including color guard and percussion, on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. On Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 8, we exempt color guard and just color guard. We exempt color guard from that 1 hour rehearsal at 7 to 8 on Tuesdays and Thursdays to compensate for their evening rehearsal with Mr. Tucker on Thursday evening from 6 to 8. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4 Saturday rehearsals on August 21st, 28th, September 4th, September 11th from 9:30 to 12. Drumline, you have an additional rehearsal with Mr. Vall on Mondays from 3:15 to 4:30. If you're in athletics, you need to go to your athletics, but for those who are not, you're going to join Mr. Vall. I think, if memory serves, he works predominantly on cadences during this time. Front ensemble does not rehearse with drumline on Monday afternoons. Packing list. There's an extensive packing list. Most of that is for the preseason camp at EIU, so you don't necessarily need everything, but I'm going to leave that list up there for you to peruse so that you're aware of what is needed for camp, at least the important items, such as a big water cooler, Canteen Camelback, should be at least 1 quart, should be pretty good size. A small disposable water bottle is not going to be enough. We need to make sure everyone drinks lots of fluids. We don't want anyone going to the hospital because of heat exhaustion. This is not football or track or cross country, so it's not highly intensive activity, but at the same token, it's very important to stay hydrated. Of course, wear sunblock so no one gets sunburnt, and tennis shoes for practices, or your drill master shoes. And you can see the rest of the packing list on the website, which I'll talk about in a moment. Our preseason camp spirit day. So on Sunday, this is the first, this is a Sunday, I forget the date, the 27th, I think. It's the Sunday of logistics day when we come in and get our equipment at the school. That is section colored day. So at the very bottom, you can see that flutes are purple, clarinet section is blue, saxophone's red, all the way to guard, which is black. So hopefully your section leader will contact you and make arrangements, make sure you know what's going on. But in case you don't, you can see the information. This is also listed on the website. On Monday, this is August 2nd, is Wacky Sock Day. Tuesday is Dress Up as Your Favorite Character Day. So if we had, let's say, the trumpet section could dress up as the Ghostbusters, or in this case, the banjo section, which doesn't exist, can dress up as Scooby-Doo characters. Wednesday is Twin Day. You don't have to dress up alike in your section, although it's preferred, but you don't have to. You just want to make sure you look like twins. Make it very distinctive. Thursday is Silly Hat Day. The bigger the better, the funnier the better. And Friday is School Pride Day. This is our parent preview day. So make sure you wear anything orange and black, preferably your department shirts if you have them. Well, I guess you'll have those in the afternoon for parent preview, but just wear something that is orange and or black. That being said, keep in mind, it's summer. It's hot. With your costumes especially, make sure it is appropriate for whatever you wear in the summer. I don't want anyone getting sick. We don't need anyone going to the hospital. Be safe. Online resources. This screen capture is pretty old. The website doesn't look much like this. It looks mostly like it, but it's changed quite a bit. But you can see the website at the very top is RCHSBANDS.net, RCHSbands.net. And I put some arrows next to some pretty important links on there. Cut time, which we'll talk about in a moment. Announcements, in which you will find the detailed itinerary for any and every event. The calendar, of course, it would say 2021, 2022 calendar. You can find all of the details for next year. And this is listed. Right now the date is Monday, May 24th. All of this has been posted well in advance for next year. And it goes a year all the way out to next May. So it's we try not to catch anybody by surprise, so we give you guys months' notice of upcoming events. And then RCHS ensembles. Under there, most especially the Marching Tigers link, there are a ton of links you can find, including a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about in this presentation. All right, cut time. Okay, voice, hang in there. We're almost done. Cut time, we have... this is a service we use predominantly to track financial balances for student accounts. As I mentioned, a lot of students fundraise to pay for their class fee or for Disney or Reads and so forth. And we list all of that on cut time. Each student has an account. Parents are encouraged to make an account, and we can sync up their account with their son and daughter's account so they can see how much that son and daughter owes. Plus, if a parent is going to Disney, we would charge their accounts, not their son's or daughter's accounts for the Disney trip. If you look where the red arrow is, if the current balance, in this case $27.84, that is the amount that is due that the student owes the band program. If the amount is in parentheses, that actually is so it's opposite of what we think it would be. If it's in parentheses, it means there is a surplus in that student's account that they can apply to other financial obligations within the band program or choir program. So it's so again, no parentheses, the student owes money. Parentheses, they have extra money. We also use a text messaging app to keep everyone in contact. For all of these, you would have to text to the phone number 81010. Yes, it's a small phone number, 81010. And then students, you have all of these classes that you would send the following code to enroll. For instance, marching band, you type in the subject message at HEE97A, and you send to the phone number 81010. And then it's going to ask for your name. Please make sure you use your full name with capital letters in the first letters. And then follow the instructions. Make sure you select students and so forth. Same for color guard. You can see the code, symphonic band, Disney World and Cocoa Beach trip, the jazz combo, and RCHS bands students. So at the very least, if a student is in a marching band, he or she should sign up for the Marching Tigers as well as RCHS bands. Those two are the ones that they would need to enroll. Parents, you may sign up for, please don't sign up for most of these because they belong to students and you'll knock off a student at some point and they won't get messages, but you can sign up for Disney World and Cocoa Beach trip, the RCHS bands, parents, and guardians. And just same as before, text 81010 and you text this message at RCHSZ for RCHS bands, parents, and guardians, or at HEK7BG8 for Disney World and Cocoa Beach. And again, we're going to come back to this. This is the contact for the music department. Again, I am Christopher Jones. I'm the director of bands at Richland County High School. Warren Whitecamp is the choir director, and Nancy Dimel is the assistant director and music department manager. You can see our email addresses as well as our contact phone number. Please feel free to contact us should you have any questions. We'd be happy to address any questions, comments, or concerns. And we hope now that you folks enjoy the rest of your summer, or summer whenever it starts, and we look forward to seeing you in a couple of months. Thanks much. Take care.